Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Mythic Legion's War of the Aetherblade, Gorgo Aetherblade and Atilla Leossyr. If Saturday morning cartoons fueled your imagination as a kid and powers your action figure collecting now as an adult, then you're in the right place. Thanks for stopping by and welcome to Saturday Morning Toy Collector. And if you like my content, please consider subscribing. Alright, before we take a look at the front of the package, if you would like to add this set to your collection, you can do so, as it is in stock and currently shipping from Big Bad Toy Store for $149.99, and I do believe that both of these figures in these forms are exclusive to this set. They are different than the versions that came out prior, which is why they both have a 2 after their name. So if you'd like to do so, you can click the link in the description below and pick this 2-pack figure set up right now from BigBadToyStore.com. Front of the package says Mythic Legion's Atilla Leossyr, the second War of the Aetherblade and Gorgo Aetherblade the second. As you can see, just about everything that comes in the package in that huge window box, and boy does it look nice. This is a very impressive set. Flipping around here on the back, you can see some beautiful shots from the video game, as this was a Kickstarter exclusive, I do believe, or pre-order exclusive with the video game, and you can certainly zoom in right there and read the write-up. Pause the video and read it if you'd like. I never played the game. I don't know if the game has come out. I don't know anything about the video game version of this. I believe it might have been PC only, which is probably why I know nothing about it. Opening the package up, here is, there are 2 trays. This is the top tray with the figure and their main weapon right there in the front. And then the second tray comes with all of their other accessories, their other weapons, their cape, their shield, the different shoulder pauldrons, and everything else that you get. All right, taking a closer look at all the accessories that come with Atilla Leossyr. He does come with this standard sword here. It's done up in gold and red. Clips onto the belt, nice and easy. He does come with this very impressive Warhammer. This thing is incredible. It has 4 lion heads surrounding it, this red jewel on the main front and back of the hammer itself. Just the sculpt work, the wash, the paint here is absolutely incredible. It does spin on its base. I'm not sure why. This shaft doesn't come off that I can tell. It just spins on there, and boy, is this an incredible weapon, and one that I can't even believe anybody would post this figure up on their shelf without this particular weapon. Here's a closer look at his gorgeous shield with the lion head and the horns coming off. It looks incredible. I've already got the handle on, but if you do want to remove the front of the shield, they do come apart in 2 pieces, and I think that's so that, you know, customizers can make different shield attachments. 4 Horsemen can make different shield attachments there. I got a little paint rub right there, but it's a beautiful shield, and that face plate that goes on front of it is just absolutely incredible with the detail there. We're going to go ahead and put the handle back on. Next up, we're going to take a look at the shoulder pauldrons, and much like everything else that comes with Atilla, it does have this beautiful lion motif. It has these little tassels, red tassels hanging down, very Roman inspired. Just that wash and the patina on this thing just look incredible. It looks like it's old metal. He has these 2 giant buckles in the front for holding his cape. We'll take a closer look at that in a minute. And taking a closer look at his face plates and everything, he does come with 2 separate face plates. This one's kind of, you know, a little bit perturbed and looking off to his left. You can see the nice stubble on his chin and the 2 scratches. Here is the other face plate. He's looking very happy, very pleased with himself, looking straight forward. Again, you can see that stubble, the beard, and the scars on his cheeks. And these just fit right inside the helmet. We're going to take a closer look at that in a minute, but it also does come with a flesh-colored net peg and a full unhelmeted head, which looks incredible, and this thing is just fantastic. To me, this is fantastic. To me, this is worth the price of admission for this figure alone. The hair, the head sculpt, just everything about it just looks incredible. What a beautiful head sculpt. He does come with the old 1.0 style belt, and he does come with a nice, beautifully stitched and wired cape. There's wires running along every edge. This is the inside of the cape. It has 2 small loops that will fit over those big buckles that were on his shoulder pads. So we'll take a look at that in just a minute. Let's go ahead and get this thing. It's kind of big, and let's get this thing folded up and out of the way and take a closer look at Attila himself. This figure is awesome. This is how it looks without a faceplate or the helmet on. They just kind of fit over this little thing and just kind of plug in, and it holds in place very nicely. And then you can see that there are two lines on either side at the top of this piece on his helmet, and they fit in these two little grooves on the inside. And when you plug this thing together, it completes the look, and you have this fully lion golden lion headdress that just looks absolutely fantastic. That just looks so killer. But to me, as awesome and as cool as this is, it just doesn't beat that unhelmeted head sculpt, and that's how it's probably going to have to go on my shelf. But swapping it out with the more determined, more grimacing face. Let's go ahead and get this popped off and go ahead and get his other faceplate popped on. Man, that head looks really cool, and we're going to go ahead and pop that on. And you can see that now he's kind of looking off to his left, a little more determined, a little more perturbed, and ready to go to battle. And man, it just looks absolutely incredible. But as much as I do love this helmet, you know, I do want to show off what it looks like. So you can just pop the whole head and neck peg off, and then you can just pop the new neck and head sculpt on, and man, gosh, that just does it for me. He just looks absolutely incredible. He can look up and down about that far. This guy can hit that T-pose no problem. The arms can go all the way out, so that's really nice. Typically Mythic Legions, some can do it, some cannot, depending on the way they're sculpted. Arms can go all the way around. You don't have a bicep swivel, but you do have a hinge and swivel at the elbow. You can't quite get 90, but that's okay. That's typical Mythic Legions. The hands are on a swivel and a hinge, both horizontal hinges on both hands. It does have that 1.0 style body, so you are getting that ball peg at the waist. The loincloth is also wired as well. The legs can go forward that far, back that far, can go all the way out to the side. Mythic Legions never skimps on the leg articulation. Does have an upper thigh cut, which is always nice. Has a 90-degree bend and swivel at the knee. And then it has a swivel and a hinge and a pivot, a really nice pivot on the feet. So if you've messed around with Mythic Legions before, you know exactly what you're getting here with this figure. Now, I do want to go ahead and pop the shoulder pauldrons on. They just plug into the back of the figure, and sometimes they go in easy on the first try, and sometimes they don't. So I got the luck of the draw this time, and they're plugging in pretty easy. And hopefully you can see that they have these massive buttons on the front of the shoulder pads, and that's for the cape. Now, I do want to show off what this guy looks like without the cape. He just looks incredible. But if you do want to add that cape, and this is probably going to be pretty tricky for me to do around my camera while looking through my camera. Boy, I really don't know if I'm going to be able to do this on camera. But yeah, you can get it around that big button, and it clips on very nicely. And then you can just tuck the corner of it under that button once you get it done. Let's go ahead and do the other side. Now that I know what I'm doing, hopefully it won't be as difficult. Bob's your uncle. We did it. All right, so we're just going to tuck the little corners of the cape underneath. Sorry, I had to pull it around my camera so I could see a little bit. And then you just want to lay that thing down flat, and it just looks super nice over those shoulder pauldrons. I kind of like it over. I wonder what it would look like if we put them underneath the shoulder pads, underneath the shoulders, and have the strap come up from underneath. I may have to try that later, but right now that doesn't look bad to me at all. It's giving me kind of like Strife from X-Men vibes, that big cape, and it's got a nice thick wire in it, so it really holds a really nice cape pose, have it billowing out to the side there. And like I said, the loincloth is also wired as well, so they didn't skimp on there. And that little neck piece came off, but we're going to go ahead and put the lion head helmet back on this figure. So let's get the neck armor back on and pop that head back on. Thankfully, the head and neck pegs are really easy to swap on this guy. So good Lord have mercy, that guy is incredible looking. Just looks absolutely glorious in all this golden armor, and he is ready to go to battle. I can't gush enough about how awesome this figure looks. Man, he's absolutely incredible. All right, taking a closer look at Gorgo Aetherblade's weapons, we do get the standard axe, and you know, you guys have seen these before. You can move these points right here off. They all come unplugged, and you can add other attachments to it if you want to make it a double-bladed axe. He does come with the Aetherblade himself. itself, I should say. It's really nicely painted, although my handle's kind of bent to one side, so I'd probably have to heat that up and drop it in some cold water and see if I can get that fixed permanently. He comes with this gnarly shield, and if you're thinking this guy looks familiar, it's because it is Aetherblade. It is definitely Aether's head all the way down to the rings in his ears, the mask, the teeth, the horns. It's just amazing. I may have to give this guy to Aether because this shield may be too big for Gorgo to hold himself. Same as before, you can take the handle off and you can pop this face plate off of the shield. You can see how they're going to make these shields modular for moving forward. I think that's something that I would love to see. So let's go ahead and get that popped back on. You put the handle back on the back and it's ready to go and ready for battle. But man, that thing is incredible. Look at the sculpt on that. It's absolutely glorious. Taking a look at the rest of the stuff he comes with, he does come with these big shoulder pauldrons that are nice. They have this nice like spiky black and gold motif. There's a little eye right here in the front. That black and gold and red accents 2 red buttons, or red and black button on the back. They don't have the big buttons that Leossyr did. He does come with a standard belt and a stitched cape, but this comes with much larger loopholes because, like I was saying, he doesn't come with the same type of buttons on his shoulder pads. So these the straps are going to go in a different way. Taking a closer look at Gorgo here, if you don't like the antlers look, you can take them off for a more streamlined helmet. You can put any kind of attachments, wings, horns, anything you'd like on here to make him your version of Gorgo the way you want him. But just all the red and gold look glorious, just looks so good. The head can look up that far, can look down that far, which is really nice, especially with that armor around the head and neck. It does have that 1.0 style body, so it's the bottom part's on a ball joint and move all the way around. This guy can't quite hit a T-pose. He almost gets there, but not quite. Just a little shy of it. The arms do go all the way around. He does not have a bicep swivel, but he does have that hinge and swivel right there at the elbow. You can get 90 degrees. He does have a swivel right there at the top of the gauntlet, and he does have a swivel and horizontal hinges on both of the hands. The legs can go all the way out to the side. Standard Mythic Legions here, all the way forward, back that far. You do have a nice bend at the knee, single joint, does swivel at the knee. It does have that upper thigh cut, no problem. Swivels at the knee. It does swivel at the foot. It does have a hinge up and down and a pivot, really nice pivot. And so you're getting that standard Mythic Legions articulation there. I was trying to show off right here. There's a couple of little hooks on the top of his armor. So what I like to do is I like to put the big strap around his arm and then the smaller strap around those little hooks that are on the top of his armor. I don't know if that's what they're there for, but they're there and I'm going to make use of them. And again, I apologize for trying to do this on camera and getting it completely off base. I really hate that I do that. When I go back and I watch these reviews when I'm editing, I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here, guys? So let's see if I can get that looped around there very nicely. I'm doing the best I can. Sorry that this is off frame. I apologize. But there we go. We hang it down. And it droops down low enough that you can actually put the shoulder pauldrons on over the top. And I may try to do this with Leossyr later on before he goes up on my shelf. But we're going to go ahead and plug these shoulder pauldrons in. And another lucky draw here. They go in first time, no problem. And then that's how you can store the cape or apply the cape to the figure underneath the pauldrons and not have it flow over top the way I did with Leossyr to begin with. There we go. Let's get that pushed all the way in, and there you have it. Boy, he looks incredible, and my butterfingers are knocking his antlers off. He probably did not appreciate that, not one bit. But there he is. There's Gorgo Aetherblade with his cape attached. It is drooping off one shoulder. I apologize for that. I need to probably fix that and get that tucked back up in there. But man, he just looks absolutely glorious here. He looks so cool. I can't say that word enough, and I promise I won't say glorious again the rest of this review. They're so beautiful and so intricate and so detailed. I just don't know what other word to use. They just look so fantastic. But before we wrap up this video, I do want to play around with Gorgo here just to show you some different examples of things you can do with him. I happen to have some horns laying around, so I'm going to pop these horns on. I wish I had some wings in my accessory box to plug those on to show you what these look like. But we've got some horns that looks really nice here. We're going to go ahead and take the head off completely. I've got some other heads I want to pop on that I think would look really nice for this guy. I've got this red orc head here that I think looks super cool, and the reds match up really nicely. Man, I forgot how tight that head plugs in. It's really tight and hard to move, but I think that looks pretty gnarly. Right there, you've kind of got this orc king looking leader of an army. You can pop on a happen to have an articulated skeleton head here. I think that looks really nice and really creepy and scary. That looks awesome. I dig it. That would definitely work if you wanted to see maybe what you think Gorgo looks like underneath. But I happen to have the heads pack around. I have this extra demon head and demon neck, so we're going to go ahead and put that on. And boy, that really is impressive. I really love the way that looks. And honestly, guys, that may be how this guy goes on my shelf. Boy, he looks impressive. The reds, that demon look, the bright eyes, that just looks incredible. So yeah, it may be how this guy goes on my shelf. Let's go ahead and get the black neck peg back on, get his head back on properly, and stand this guy up here. Let's just go ahead and leave the horns on for right now, and then bring in Attila and bring him down here. And let's get these guys under some lighting, under some into some backgrounds, and see how well they pose up. Man, I got to tell you, these are two incredible figures, two that I didn't think I would get a chance to add to my collection. They were sold out on Big Bad Toy Store for the longest time, and I remember last year just like feverishly, like just reloading. Like every day I would keep the window up on my desktop computer, and every day I would just check in, I'd reload, and finally they were available. 2 and 3 would become available at a time, as people would cancel their pre-orders, and I happened to pre-order it and get one in, and now I don't even know if I needed to do that because they look like they're readily available and in stock right now to ship from Big Bad Toy Store. And if you want one, check the link in the description below and get a set right now, because these things are incredible. So they are some of the best Mythic Legions figures that have ever been made, and I am certainly happy to have them in my collection. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. I super appreciate it. Please continue to check us out over at Instagram at Saturday Morning Toy Collector. I am the Saturday Morning Toy Collector. I'm your host, Mark, and remember, I will see you in the toy aisles.